All right, what's going on, everybody? We're back. The Journey Continues vibe. And this time, I got a very special guest, a friend of mine. We crossed paths. That's why it's The Journey. He is involved with music in many ways. And of course, as you all know, I'm a big fan of vibes. I'm a big fan of all different music, definitely getting you in the mood, in the vibe, in the meditation. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to ask a couple questions to see how he evolved in his journey to where he is now and how he's reaching many people, because that's what it's all about. So who are we with? Let's introduce him right now. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? I love that, Adam. I love the energy. My name is CAS. I'm 29 years old from Waterbury, Connecticut. I am now currently in Tampa, Florida, and I've been doing music for about 10 years now. And I'm excited to be here, man, on the show.
Nice. So how'd you even get started in music in the first place? Because I know there's millions of DJs out there. There's millions of people that get their hands on music to see what it's all about. Some people stick with it, some people don't. Some people just kind of dabble in it and they're like, "Oh, that was fun for a little outlet," but you're making it happen, and you even moved all over there for music. So how did you get into music? Into beats were you always into, or what did you start with?
Man, it's crazy. So, like, back in grammar school, I was that kid making beats on the desk. I was like real quiet kid, but I was always around making music. Other people would try to rap or freestyle over it. So, as a young age, I feel like I always had that music in me, but didn't know how to express it at that level yet because I was still young. So then I had a girlfriend at the time, and she really inspired me. I got sick for a little bit, so I bought
Okay.
the DJ controller and started going from there. I started working on it from there.
Now, is
But
there anything that you could recommend to people that go through what you were saying? Like they just want to get into some beats. What did you do? I know things have come a long way, but what were you using? So if someone's listening here that wants to say, "Hey, I just want to get my expression out there," could you give any advice on that?
man, great starter is YouTube. YouTube is great. It's like a whole school for free, honestly. So you guys could get products. You kind of just need a laptop these days and headphones just to get started. In the
So you're
beginning,
saying you started the beats like with a program you were using, so like from your laptop.
back in the day, this was Fruit Loops. So that's when
Okay.
I was young,
Okay.
like probably 15 years old. That's a good beginner if you guys are just getting started. And for controller, I would pick up like a mini. I think I have it right here actually. They
Okay.
have mini size ones for good for starters.
Oh, cool.
So I'll definitely recommend
Nice.
two channel.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated with the lights and everything. So I've seen ones that have the drum kits thing on there and all the lights that you can mess around
Yeah,
with. That's always drew my attention because I'm big on seeing what you can do, but also seeing the sounds with like lights and things going
yeah,
on.
for
So
sure. The
I always
whole
get drawn to
production.
that. Yep. So so you're telling us, okay, how you kind of got into it, what you're interested in. Now, were you into any specific music growing up, or because I know beats, you still got to maybe learn about music? Were you drawn to any type of music, and what kind of style do you like to do in your beats?
For sure. I grew up all around hip hop and rap when I was in school and everything. So that was mostly the biggest genre around that inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
But now as a producer, I create mostly house music, which is like a new wave for me, and I really fell in love with that. So I stick with that. But now I'm trying to incorporate the hip hop world with house. That's why I would do remixes of hip hop songs and speed them up a little bit. So I really love that because it gives both cultures a chance
Right
to shine.
now, do you notice people who used to be telling you like, "Oh, I just listened to this," then all of a sudden, because your music, all of a sudden they opened up a little bit?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, getting good feedback, it really inspires me when I hear people talk about how they felt when they heard the song or they're going through something at the time. And that's what really keeps me going, man, is hearing stories like that.
Have you what is something that you can share with us? Because I really believe music and everything is really powerful when it comes to listening to different people say that you're just about to everybody and a different year or what do you the vibe of when you that you can see.
You cut out a little bit. Just repeat the question.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna check my connection just for everybody so that we don't lag, but should be good. So what I was saying at the end was, as far as the energy you get off your experiences, what you see in the audience, what you see in the people that come, maybe not even knowing what they're going to expect, and then how they are during and how you feel they leave after your performances.
Man, music is really life-changing. Because I remember going to my first concert when I was 18. And after that, I was like, man, this is like what I want to do. The feeling when I left was amazing. I was so inspired. And for me, it's funny it could go deep because I'm like a quiet kid. So the music like gives me like an outlet to be more outgoing. And it gets me like alive. It gives me that energy inside, which is pretty crazy. Like it wakes me up.
Yeah, well, that's what I feel other people too. A lot of people might not know, what they're holding into themselves, because I talk a lot about emotion and holding on to emotion. And even myself, sometimes I looked for, in the past at least, I looked for a reason to be happy, not just go into a situation smiling and bubbly, but it kind of brings that out of you in a way. I think music, it kind of says, whoa, I didn't realize that I was so mellow, or I really wasn't opening up. But this music shows me more of who I am and what I'm capable of being. So that's why I think it's important to be around music and understand that what you listen to, in a way, you become, because it's a
Yes,
little scary nowadays. I have to bring it up because people listening to certain songs only or certain beats only, and they're like embodying that energy of the music. So I love, like, people, when you come on here and are able to share like the experiences of the kind of music you're putting out, because what I listen to, and we'll play a clip later, really upbeat, mixing the different genres together, but still creating like a positive, upbeat energy. And a
yeah,
lot of people, I feel, get, I mean, some way brainwashed, some way stuck into the lyrics of songs and the beats of songs, bringing them down. They don't even realize, that that's it's not the direction that's going to uplift you and uplift people around you. So it's a bit scary. That's why I'm saying it's good to have good vibes, energy from music that's bringing you to a better place,
for sure.
because you walk away from certain music, you're listening to music in your car, and I feel like you start bringing that energy where you go, and you don't realize it, and then all of a sudden you're listening to sad songs all the time, and then you're depressed, and it's like, what, where did this come from?
Yeah,
So I feel like the other direction. That's why it's important to ask you the questions about, how do you feel about your audience and how they change, and even people that come to your things more than once, and they tell you like, man, I wasn't feeling good, or this is, or I feel real good. Or you just notice, do you notice any times you see people when they leave and you're like, man, he was kind of grumpy when he got here a little bit, or he was keep it to himself, and now he's like dancing all over the place, and I never thought that guy was going to dance, or that girl was going to dance.
for sure. I think the music gives people like an outlet to feel more comfortable because I see them in the beginning of the night, how they not as social, and towards the end of the night, they get a little warmed up. I don't want to say it's the alcohol,
Yeah, I
but
know. I was gonna think about that. Well,
it's a
it
good
it gets
outlet.
you able, but without the music, you can't really dance to too much. You know.
So it's a great feeling, man. A lot of people will. I had one guy come up to me for my first song
Yep.
that he was going through a breakup. The song was called Lies.
Oh,
He
okay.
just like started breaking down and like saying how much it meant to him, how inspired he was, and how it related to him so much of what he was going through. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing, bro. Like I didn't even because that was like my first song, so I didn't realize that yet. That really touched people, and it was the best feeling ever. So we're just gonna continue to keep doing that moving forward. And as I push my music, it's more positive. As you notice, I have no curse words or anything in my songs. I try to keep that with all my music and just keep spreading positivity.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what comes to mind when you mention that is, and we're not gonna get deep into it, but you know, I learned. I think this is still true that Will Smith, he said he would never put a curse word in his songs, and he would never, swear in his movies. At least that's what I remember. And then I had to go back and listen to some of his songs, and I was like, you know what? He never did swear. And it showed you a lot, I guess, a lot about your character and what you're willing to do and how you could be very successful without one swear word in your songs. And yeah, everyone lets a F bomb go once in a while, and I think it's healthy to get it out. But to be able to do that and show like, look, I don't really need to go there in order to get attention or to get energy out. You can do it in other ways too. That's awesome.
It's almost like going to the movies and you saw an action movie and you walk outside and you think you're still in that reality. Same with music, you know what I mean? If they're
Yep.
talking about violence, then you go outside, you're gonna
Think,
want to
think
start promoting violence or, you are what you listen to.
Yep. Yep. So I would say that that was one of the experiences that was able to touch you as part of your work.
For
How
sure.
about how about yourself from being around music so often? Would you say that music changed you in any way, or if you feel you evolved yourself, would you
100%.
say, how would you think music influence you from being around it so often? Because sometimes people don't have the opportunity to listen to music much because they're at work or they work a 9 to 5. But would you say one, music supported you to grow, and then how would you say it did that, if so?
For sure. Music gave me an outlet to be creative and show my creative side.
Uh,
That it's talking and speaking words. I put it through the music, which gives me more power and control to show my creativity. Because music gives me that burning feeling inside that makes me wake up every day and be enlightenment and just keep going. Because it really gives me that energy and light.
yep.
And being on a stage is like 10 times that. So imagine doing that. You
how
just
how
feel like
how could people reach you if they want to check your music, or even just try to reach out to you and ask you questions about DJ stuff, or see where they can catch you on stage? How can they do that?
my DMs are open on Instagram at DJ CAS. And you can follow me on YouTube. I really push a lot on YouTube at DJ CAS also.
And how's that spelled? DJ, is it CAS?
Yep, at DJ CAS on
Okay,
all platforms.
awesome. Any things in your journey as far as when you went over there? How is the community of music that you know? How are people in the music place where you are, as far as the network, the community? How's that?
Oh, it's amazing out here in Florida. A lot of people are more inspired and network a lot. I'll say more actively.
Yep.
And people are more open to new things, as in Connecticut. I feel like everyone's for themselves and not ready to expand
Okay.
or build with each other. It's more like every man for themselves. I know it's out here, it's really more uplifting, and we're trying to build a good team around us, which is way moving way faster, I feel like, instead of
No,
that like New York mentality.
yeah, no, I hear you. It's a different. That's like when I was in California living. I
Yeah,
think every place has its thing that is a little competitive in different ways. And there, obviously, like health and fitness is big, but just because it's big doesn't mean people are trying to get that last apple off the tree, or be competitive in different ways. Just makes it a little bit more popular, but sometimes competitive at the same time. you know
Sure.
so, well, what are some songs for yourself that are the ones that you like the most, or ones that you'd want to share?
Um, Man, this is the Diplo song. It's called Heaven or Hell. It's a great song. That's out right now.
You have stuff on what outlet can people listen to your stuff on? Is it on Apple? Is it on any other stuff?
I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, pretty much everything. YouTube.
So people could check you on Spotify. If I put a link somewhere, people could check you on Apple. Is it iTunes? That's what it's called.
Yeah, Apple Music, CAS, CAS. You could find me there.
Okay. I'm gonna see, just since we're on here, I'm gonna look up let's see. All right, let's see. So, is it, what kind of genres are popular out there? Do you notice if it's any different than the East Coast, or it's pretty much
I
just
would say it's
depending?
more like more of the house scene out here, for sure.
All right, let's see here. Um, so is it under DJ CAS?
CAS, CAS. You can find
Okay, Spotify. Let's see. Well, we're gonna add it anyway, but I just want to see. Maybe I don't have it on the music. Maybe this is podcasts. So I'll see if they'll look it up on music.
for sure.
Uh,
If not, you could go on YouTube.
CAS. Okay. Well, I'll come across it. It tries to show me a bunch of different stuff. I had it set up before. Do you have a picture on it for people if they're looking for it, or is it a picture of something, or is it an album or anything?
Yeah, you could put CAS Catch Me. That'll probably come up faster.
Hmm. All right. What shows up under your, like, if people are looking
There you go.
for you? Does it show? Oh, okay. Okay. That's what it looks like. So it's like a silhouette if
Yeah,
people are
photo.
looking for it.
Correct.
All right. I'll have to see. I'll check it up. All right. Awesome. Well, we'll add some stuff to it. Definitely get something going. So for everybody that's listening, so also with music, what would you say is the thing that you do that it inspires you to keep doing the music? For, because you said one thing is you saw other people how it impacted, so that's a big thing, because you never know, just influencing one person, they influence somebody else, or if they're going through a hard time, like the guy that mentioned in your thing. So what is something that drives you to do what you do still, and what you're going for? Like, what is your ultimate thing that you see yourself doing, if you could bring it up?
Yeah, for sure. Day-to-day life is just inspiring. Going outside and waking up every day is a blessing. So it creates more flow and more experiences to create music as an art too. And just keep inspiring people that are down or going through something, that it gives them an outlet to be inspired and listen to a song that I have created or friends, and we just keep going from there.
Nice. Are you working on anything now?
Yes, I'm actually experiencing a new genre right now with Afro House. So I'm
Okay.
working on that. So stay tuned. We're
Hmm.
working.
What genre is that?
Afro House is like big in Africa. It's Afro like house music. So it's more of a chill, like relaxing
Okay.
house beats. Yeah.
So when you say that you're working on that, do you speak in it also? Or is it mostly beats?
I mostly work with local artists to get them to sing over my instrumentals and we collab together.
So you actually have them sing like in a studio. So you record it
Correct.
and then you play your beats too.
Yeah, I have them sing the chorus and we have a home studio here or we go to a recording studio and get it done there.
Nice. What's the average time that you would spend in the studio at once, or what? And then I'll ask you other questions for that. But what's the average time? Let's say if you were working on your music to spend in the studio.
I like to aim for about like 3 hours is like to get a nice little rough like
Yeah.
begin.
What's
But
the longest you've gone in a
longest,
studio?
man,
Yeah.
probably like
You or others combined, you could say.
probably like 6 hours one day, which isn't too crazy, but
Man.
we made whole songs in about an hour,
Wow.
2 hours. So yeah, you never know. It's more of like in the moment.
Yep.
It goes with the flow.
Okay. I know I've watched a couple movies. I can't even think of the name. One particular that coming to mind regarding a singer. I don't know if you would recall this or people listening, but it was a singer. He played a guitar at one point, but I forget. It was maybe it was like a story about somebody else. But he lived on his boat, and his boat caught on fire at the end because he had a jealous friend that set it on fire. I don't know if you remember that movie. It sounds like anything you've
Yeah, what
watched.
is that? That's like the Elvis movie.
I don't know if it was something else. It was like a woman that was close to him, and he was really good at music, and she was trying to be his manager. At one point, they actually, they got into the relationship. It's the movie, so they got in a relationship, and his friend was like, "Oh, he set him up to be a drummer, for at like an event one night, and I guess that's how he got seen. He started singing and drumming, and somebody saw him and said, "You should be, performing and writing your own songs." I can't think of the name of the movie, but that's what it makes me think about.
Yeah, we gotta check that out.
Yeah, so I'll send it to you. But yeah, so you never know, when you start doing some stuff, you influence people, you get into that alignment. That's how you meet people, and that's why I want to see like what is your goal now? Like where do you see yourself, or what your main thing that you want to do? Because I always feel maybe as you speak it now, like what you say about like where you see yourself when you open up and say, look, this is how I see myself and this is my intention. It's like you get aligned where people just come out of the woodworks to support your vision. But until we can speak our vision, until we can actually come in to our, like, this is my intention, is to, like you said, to influence people, and this is what I see myself doing. It's like all of a sudden, boom, like people just, you never even know them. You never knew you had the opportunity. People are like, hey, I heard your stuff, and I want you to do this, or what do you think about this? So what would you say? Let's say if we talked again and everything was going exactly the way you see it in your mind, what would that be? What would that entail? Where would you be? Would you be in Florida still? Would you still be doing in that studio? What would you be doing?
For sure. I would have in 2 years I had the number one song on Billboard. So that's the main goal right now. And have our own record label created by myself and my team.
What's the record label called?
Top Floor CT.
Top floors. What is it? Top what?
CT. So luxury is where you are, not where you think it is.
That's what the phrase will be.
Yeah, that's like the motto.
Okay. So, are you think you don't know what kind of beach you'll be in at that time, or are you gonna be signing people
Yeah,
to
my
do
goal is
stuff
to
under you?
help up and coming artists, spread the positivity and learn from my mistakes and just teach others, and more kind of like a training course for everyone that needs help.
For DJs or for singers or for producers also?
Yeah, I think more DJ focused right now.
Okay.
Producer would come more down the road as I get more experience too myself.
Yeah, well, to me, because there's so much involved, being a DJ, it's like if you add more things into the mix, let's just say, as a pun, then you have to be aware of more things. So even for me with fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, the more the more you integrate, it's sometimes can make things more complicated when you have so much that you learn. You have to figure out if you need everything or how to put everything in, but not overdo it since you know so much. So
Right.
that'd be something definitely I could see you sharing with people that say, just because you know so much stuff doesn't mean you have to use all the stuff, but you have more to choose from, like more tools in your tool belt kind of thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people overthink it that you need the best equipment, the best sound, when it's really just you need the basics and master the basics first, then move on to the next step on your journey, which you really just need a laptop and headphones and master that first, then go buy the speakers, the nice studio. That's all extra from there.
Yep. Awesome.
So
Well,
don't make any
yeah.
excuses and work with what you got.
Yeah, I always say myself, I don't know if this is an excuse for something, but I always say always try to appreciate the minimum, and then with anything extra, you're grateful, blessed, and it makes it so much easier
Sure.
if you learn, like you said, like if you master the basics, master this, then all that high tech, all the extra stuff, it's like, and that's just adds to everything so much more because you already know and you already been working with the other stuff.
Yeah, I know a lot of great high level artists that just they'll make their best song on an airplane with just a laptop and headphones.
Wow.
And people are over here spending millions of dollars at studios and everything. So it's just
Man.
once you master
Well,
the skill.
we'll have to collab on something for sure. Or I'll have to at least give you some stuff that you could turn into something yourself, because I've always had so much information for myself, and that will lead me to my last question for you. Where do you find you do your best work, and what gets you into, you feel like that mode, or how do you get into that creative mode for yourself? Because I feel everybody has something that allows them to get into that mind space to be able to work better. Some people like little things like not, I don't want to say chaos, but some people like to be busy doing so many things and then they get inspiration. But what is it for you that gets you into that mode where you feel you can create the most, and also if you have to take any measures to get into that mode, what is it?
For sure. It's funny, I just said on the airplane, which is really like how I made my last song in like an hour. I guess beat up in the sky is great inspiration also. But just in my room too, once this light comes on, then we're ready to go.
So that
So
puts you into that zone where you start going off into creative mode.
yeah, something as simple as that. What you love what you do, you can do anywhere. So I'm just really, really blessed at that part.
Awesome. Now, what music do you listen to yourself as far as getting into that mode? Do you listen to anything yourself?
Yeah, I hear a lot of songs on the radio or in the car and get inspired by it, then I try to recreate or use as like a template to kind of use as like a rough draft.
That's cool, because I learned something the other day, and I think it's true that most people that are the billionaires are because they take an idea and they make it better. It's never the people that originally tried to come out with something that are the billionaires. It's the people that see something, see the opportunity in it to be even better, greater, and that's where they come up with it. So I'll see you soon as a billionaire.
Hey, appreciate that.
You got it. Well, it's been awesome talking to you and asking you these questions. I'm grateful that you could be open with your stuff. And we're definitely going to attach a clip, or at least have something where people can listen to your music so they can get an idea of where you're coming from and where you're going with the information that you shared. So I appreciate it. I want to thank you very much for coming on to the Journey Continues vibe. And thanks for everybody for listening, vibing with us. Hope you're listening to whatever music keeps you inspired, keeps you going, keep you growing. And you never know where you'll end up with your passion, whether it's from Connecticut to Florida to Hawaii to Egypt to Peru. Who knows where the music will bring you? So everybody, I appreciate you all. Thank you for the Journey Continues vibe.
Go.